installing a processor and heatsink.
Align the processor on the new carrier so that the triangular marks align, and then insert the marked end of the processor into the carrier. Hold the inserted end of the processor in place and then push the unmarked end of the carrier down and away from the processor. Press the processor and secure the sides under the clips on the carrier. If you are reusing a heatsink, use a syringe to apply 4 uniformly spaced dots of thermal grease on top of the processor. Each dot should contain about 0.1 milliliters of thermal grease. Align the triangular mark on the heatsink label with the mark on the processor.
Align the triangular mark and 4 Torx T30 nuts on the PHM with the triangular mark and threaded posts of the processor socket, and then insert the PHM into the processor socket. Push the anti-tilt wire bales outward until they engage with the hooks in the socket. Fully fasten the Torx T30 nuts in the installation sequence shown on the heatsink label. Then visually inspect to make sure that there is no gap between the screw shoulder beneath the heatsink and the processor socket. For configurations with a drive cage, work through the following actions. Reconnect all the required cables to the drive backplane and then reinstall the drive cage assembly to the node. For configurations with a front OCP cage, work through the following actions. Reinstall the front OCP cage. Reinstall the required front or rear air baffle. Make sure that the OCP cable is connected to the system board and then route the OCP cable through the front air baffle and reinstall it on the front OCP cage with screws. Reinstall the front OCP module. If necessary, reinstall the internal adapter bracket and reconnect all the required cables to the internal adapter. If necessary, reinstall the flash power module and reconnect the flash power module cable. Make sure that all the required cables are routed and connected correctly, and then reinstall the top cover. Reinstall the node into the chassis.